How y'all doing tonight? It is 2023, about to be 2024, and I wanted to do another video regarding the Song of Solomon and to do kind of a teaching on the male's perspective of the book of the Song of Songs, but also give it to, the girls as to, hey, how are you supposed to be viewed by your husband? And so I want to give the context to the Song of Solomon. Solomon, now, if you know from the book of Kings and Chronicles and the book of Proverbs, obviously, and some Psalms, was the son of David, who was a wise king, a man who sinned, against the Lord, but was shown great favor by God. And his son after him became king of an entire nation, and he became very wealthy, very wise, and very powerful from the world's perspective. And he also had many wives, but there was one of his wives in particular that was so beautiful and so captivating that he wrote a wonderful book regarding what he saw in her. And it still has, obvious connections to this day. And so I want to give maybe 4 readings of the Song of Solomon's, and I love commentary. I know that a lot of people get bored with just straight Bible reading, and so I'm trying to make this fun and interactive, but also give insight and wisdom as to how you can love your spouse rightly and to be captivated always by her love. I think that's something that Solomon really did a great job of in this specific book. And so the chapters I want to go over are 4, 5, 6, and 7, the male readings, right? I'm not a girl. I can read the female versions, but I just want to give the male perspectives. And then I also want to talk about what kind of man Solomon was in his glory, right? Solomon in all his glory, Jesus said, was not clothed as one of these. Now, think about that. Like if Jesus is saying Solomon in all of his glory, now think about the glory of a king. What is the glory of God? The glory of God is man. The glory of man is woman. And the glory of woman is her hair. It's given to her as a covering, as the Apostle Paul wrote about in the book of Corinthians. But the glory of Solomon wasn't just in his wife or in his wives. It was in his wisdom and his wealth and his power and in his faith in God, even though that kind of dwindled toward the end of his life because he was led astray by his many wives. But to give the context of the Song of Solomon's, right, without further delay, here it is, right? So, the book of the wise ancient Hebrew king of love. So the first part that I wanted to share was about the woman's perspective of her beloved and how beautiful and how powerful he was, right? So that context comes in I think chapter 3. Right? She's talking about Solomon. Who is this that cometh out of the wilderness like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all powders of the merchant? Behold his bed, which is Solomon's. 80 valiant men are about it, and the valiant of Israel. They all hold swords, being expert in war. Every man hath his sword upon his thigh, because of fear in the night. King Solomon made himself a chariot of the wood of Lebanon. He made the pillars thereof silver, and the bottom thereof of gold, covering it of purple, the midst thereof being paved with love. For the daughters of Jerusalem. Go forth, O ye daughters of Zion, and behold King Solomon with the crown wherewith his mother crowned him in the day of his espousals, and in the day of the gladness of his heart. So she sees this woman who is so beyond normal beautiful, sees the glory of her husband or her beloved. And I mean, if you have 100 men with swords about you, and you have this bed that you get carried on, that you get to sleep with all the virgins that you want in Israel, you're a pretty powerful dude. Like, you're pretty well off. Like, I don't want to like get it all like, to like the streets and stuff, but like, dude, you're that rich and that powerful and that wise. Like, you have whatever you want, and like, obviously David was a handsome young man, and his son was probably a handsome young man. And yeah, like, she sees like, okay, this guy's got it. He's got the money, the looks, the fame, the power. And he sees her, right? And this is how he sees her, right? Got my Angry Orchard beer here. I'm celebrating by myself tonight because I didn't want to go to the roller rink. And the Packers just beat the Vikings, even though I like the Vikings too. I want to play for them one day if they give me a chance. But it's good to taste the fruits of your labor. And Angry Orchard cider beer, here's my commercial for this. Angry Orchard cider beer is one of the best ways to do that. Not very alcoholic and very, very tasty. Good stuff. But yeah, this is how he sees his beloved. Chapter 4, if you want to follow along with me in your Bibles, 4, verse 1 through 15. And I'm going to say it the way that I feel like the Holy Spirit leads me to say it. Behold, thou art fair, my love. Behold, thou art fair. Thou hast dove's eyes within thy locks. Thy hair is as a flock of goats that appear from Mount Gilead. Thy teeth are like a flock of sheep. They are even shorn, which came up from the washing. Wherefore every one beareth twins, and none is barren among them. Thy lips are like a thread of scarlet, and thy speech is comely. Thy temples are like a piece of a pomegranate within thy locks. Thy neck is like the tower of David builded for an armory, whereon hang 1,000 bucklers, all shields of mighty men. Thy 2 breasts are like 2 young roes that are twins, which feed among the lilies, until the day break and the shadows flee away. I will get me to the mountain of myrrh and to the hill of frankincense. Thou art fair, my love. There is no spot in thee. Come with me from Lebanon, my spouse. From me, from Lebanon, look from the top of Amana, from the top of Sharnir and Hermon, from the lions' dens, from the mountains of the leopards. Thou hast ravished my heart, my sister, my spouse. Thou hast ravished my heart with one of thine eyes, with one chain of thy neck. How fair is thy love, my sister, my spouse. How much better is thy love than wine. And the smell of thine ointments than all spices. Thy lips, O my spouse, drop as the honeycomb. Honey and milk are under thy tongue. And the smell of thy garment is like the smell of Lebanon. A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse. A spring shut up, a fountain sealed. Thy plants are an orchard of pomegranates with pleasant fruits, camphire with spikenard and saffron, calmas and cinnamon, with all trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes, with all the chief spices, a fountain of gardens, a well of living waters and streams from Lebanon. So I have things I want to share. Obviously, as I read it, like y'all can hear the love and the poetry, right? And the delight he is taking in this woman that is fairest among women. But there's some very interesting passages, and if you actually talk about them, like conversate with somebody, not just your cell phone, even though like I see my looking at that camera as like talking with you directly, whoever you are. So I don't feel like I'm alone here. I know Jesus is with me. Um, but yeah, when I look at these things and the way he describes her, right, and I think about like the heart of a man that is just captivated by his beloved, his lover, right? I look at the locks, right? Because the glory of woman is her hair, right? Like for real. You see a girl with good hair, and guys look like, oh, you see that girl? Like you see that girl with that hair? Like she looks gorgeous. She looks so beautiful. You know, like your hair, if you got a good hair day going on, girl, it's like if you don't get that look, then the guy's just like shamefacedness or something, you know, like that turns a man on. If you got good hair, it'll keep my gaze for sure. So, the locks, your eyes within your locks are like doves. And the first time I encountered a white dove, right, at Northwestern, my school, it was so beautiful. Like looking at this little white dove in this cage, it kind of made me feel some compassion and sorrow, but it was so pure. Like what he's saying there about his beloved's eyes within her locks are like doves. Your eyes are so pure. Like looking at that white dove gives me such comfort. Looking at your eyes comforts me. It gives me a longing to keep looking, to keep gazing, to keep the joy that I see of the purity. Like when you look at a white dove, it comforts you and it keeps your gaze. And so, yeah, you know, like I don't want to give you my preference. Like you have brown eyes or blue eyes or hazel or green. Like your eyes are beautiful, and like keeping your gaze on your lover is an amazing, amazing thing. And so, yeah, that one for sure definitely is like, whoa, okay, yes. And then there's other ones that are kind of hidden, that I think when you actually read it and like talk about it, it comes out. So going up to the top of, you know, when Solomon's telling his beloved, like, let's go up to this mountain, let's go see this beautiful sight, right? Like when you see something beautiful and your eyes behold it for real. Like I say this in some of my other books that I'm writing. When you actually look upon something that is truly beautiful, when you say that it is beautiful, when you actually understand its beauty, like it has more meaning. To say that you're beautiful, like it means something more to somebody who appreciates what beauty is meant to be. And so having, you know, that understanding of like what it's like to be on the top of Clingman's Dome or Mount Holmes, you know, places I've climbed myself, and the danger and the fear and the endeavor to get there, right? Like love is a journey. And when you go on a journey with someone that you love, it bonds you in a way that is pure and sacred. It's a journey that you haven't taken with anybody else before. It's a sight you haven't seen together with anyone else before. And so when Solomon is telling her to come away to the mountains of spices and to the mountains where the lions' dens are and the leopards are, like she has to trust him. Like them things could kill you. Like I've been up to Mount Holmes, and like I'm telling you, if you get a bear or she-bear charging you, it's not gonna be a happy day for either you or that bear, because like somebody's about to go down. You know what I mean? Either you or the bear. And so in order to see something beautiful on that journey, sometimes dangerous things are, you know, in the way, and will try and destroy you. So that's verse 8. And then the other thing, too, that I kind of want to highlight before I go to the next section is this, verse 12. A garden encloses my sister, my spouse, a spring shut up, a fountain sealed. So in his love and in his longing, there's times where you want something so much, but it's not ready to be given, right? A garden enclosed. Like, I remember during COVID, right? I love going to, you've seen on my YouTube channel if you're following me and understanding who I am, American preacher, and, Alexander and Christ in me. I love gardens. I love peace, and I love teaching about peace and creating peace with those that I meet and hopefully potentially my future wife. If we don't have peace, like, we're not going to be a thing. And so when he's talking about a garden encloses my sister, my spouse, my bride, a spring shut up, a fountain sealed, she is something that I want to be in, but I can't be in yet. So during COVID, right, they shut down Como Zoo's garden and I couldn't go in. Like, if I wanted to, like, I'd have to break in, right? And so there's a time in a woman's life where she guards herself and she protects herself, or she doesn't allow people in or potentially somebody else in, right? For whatever reason. And like, when a man wants to go into a garden that's enclosed, it's something he has to wait. But he's like, I want to be in there, but I can't yet. Why? And it grows his longing and his desire and his love. It, like, the forced wait teaches the man what he really longs for and like what he's willing to wait for on behalf of his beloved. And like a spring shut up or a fountain sealed, right? Fountains, like if you look at the first video the first video that I took with the water in the natural spring over by Grace Church, like, if a fountain is sealed or shut up, it's like, this is meant to give me delight and joy, but I can't have it yet. It's locked or it's shut to keep it pure or to, let it be for a season. So that longing in a man's life when his lover is not accessible to him, it teaches him something about who he is and what he longs for and what he's willing to wait for. So verse 12 is something that's highlighted to me, obviously as a 29-year-old virgin, and obviously to Christ as, if you want to call him 2,000-year-old virgin, except he's in his glorified body and he don't look ugly. He's going to be the most beautiful of all the men that you've ever seen in your life. And at the same time, the most, it's such an interesting thing to see beauty, right? And beautiful bodies and men's beautiful bodies. But imagine the beauty of Christ and also the whippings, the shreddings, the tearings, right? Like, it gives you this balance of like, oh my goodness, my God is perfect and holy. And yet look what he suffered for my sake, for true love's sake. And I love those parts of these scriptures and his description of his beloved. And I could go into a lot of different details with all the different verses, but those three are highlighted. So on to the next. Verse 1 of chapter 5. I am come into my garden. My sister, my spouse, I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk my wine with my milk. Eat, O friends, drink, yea, drink abundantly, O beloved. So this verse, right, finally, Solomon gets to enter his garden, his bride, right, to be one with her, right, like the image of unity in sex, right? And I love how he talks about myrrh and how Christ, was given myrrh at his birth, and he was also buried with myrrh in his death, or myrrh was placed on him. It's something that can heal your skin, keep it, pure. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of women that'll talk about beauty products, and a lot of the perfumes and things are made with myrrh. And honey, right? Honey is sweet. When you delight in honey, and again, like, I don't want to get too personal about my past, but like I can, like I'm free to do so. But the image here of honey and wine and milk and eating and drinking, friends, and drinking abundantly, O beloved, right? It's the image of delighting in each other and tasting each other, right? Like physically, sexually. And like my professor at school, when I was in my relationships and sexuality, human sexuality class, right? He was saying that when a woman gets wet, like really, like she like gets, that happens when you fall in love with someone, and not just fall in love with, but like are attracted to them. He was saying that the pH levels of that liquid, or that like wetness, are actually somewhat equivalent to wines, like the pH levels in wine, and like the same acidity and same like they did studies on it. And I was like, I found that very, very interesting, because like wine is sweet to the taste. Like it's amazing. The fermentation of wine, it leaves a lasting impression in your taste, right? And so does love, when love is rightly delighted in. So I think that's very interesting. So then on to chapter 6, verse 4 through 13. And then I like the image too of like eating continually. Like it's not just something that's, oh, for here and now. Like you eat when you're hungry. You delight in each other when you are longing for it. And like, if you overeat honey, right, there's proverbs, right, where to eat too much honey is not good, right? To have too much sex is actually probably not good. It doesn't feel as good. It actually can be painful. So when you build up that longing, right, as a man and as a woman, right, like if you don't just have sex every night, or if you wait a week, or if you like wait even longer, and you preserve yourself for her and herself for you, when you finally do get to taste that meal, which is sex, like it's going to feel great. And it's going to be like, oh my God, I've waited so long for this. I've waited so long for you, like that longing will create even more sexual, not just tension, but sexual delight. So the longer you wait for a good meal, the better it tastes. The longer you wait for your sexual endeavor, and not just endeavor, but sexual delight and oneness as a married couple, the better and more sweet and lasting of the taste it will be. So I challenge you to do that. And we lived in a sex-crazed culture where it's like immediate. And it doesn't feel as good. If you wait longer and you build the sexual tension and you stop, you delay gratification, especially in a woman, and you like tease her with it, and you like make her wait even longer, when it's like, dude, you could get it, you can give it whenever you want. As a guy, it seems like you could go and have sex every day. But if you wait for her and you get her ready, like, yeah, it's gonna make her have a lot more fun. I tell you. And I'm a virgin, so like, you can say what you want, but I know basic human biology, bro, girl, whoever you are. And yeah, so on to chapter 6, verse 4. Solomon says again, I want more of this. Thou art beautiful. Thou art Yahweh, is the Hebrew word for beautiful. Thou art Yahweh, O my love, as Tirzah, comely as Jerusalem, terrible as an army with banners. Turn away thine eyes from me, for they have overcome me. Thy hair is as a flock of goats that appear from Gilead. Thy teeth are as a flock of sheep which go up from the washing. Wherefore every one beareth twins, and there is not one barren among them. As a piece of a pomegranate are thy temples within thy locks. There are 80 queens, 80 concubines, and 80 concubines, and virgins without number. My dove, my undefiled, is but one. She is the only one of her mother. She is the choice one of her that bare her. The daughters saw her and blessed her, yea, the queens and the concubines, and they praised her. Who is she that looketh forth as the dawn, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, and terrible as an army with banners? I went down into the garden of nuts to see the fruits of the valley, and to see whether the vine flourished and the pomegranates budded. Wherever I was aware, my soul made me like the chariots of Aminadab. Return, return, O Shulamite, return, return, that we may look upon thee. What will you see in the Shulamite? As it were the company of two armies, or the dance of Manahaim, or something like that. So the things I want to highlight in this section of chapter 6 goes back to the dove's eyes, obviously, and her hair, right? Her eyes and her hair are captivating. But the verses that I've taken out and incorporated into my book, The Story of Blind Beauty, right? Who is this? The fairest among women. Terrible, that's the one. Okay, I'm looking in verse 4. I'm looking in verse 4 regarding terrible as an army with banners. When you see a woman, right? I'm just going to be vulnerable here. I've seen women in my life where my heart like skipped a beat just gazing at them, seeing them, or glancing at them even. Like legitimately, I'll be like just chilling, sitting still, and I see her, and all of a sudden, whoa, something in my heart just like leapt up. And like, it's like your breath just leaves you. It's like the heartbeat of love when you see your lover or see someone that you are attracted to. Like comparing your lover to an army of banners, right? Something that men fear, right? Kings back in the day, like in order to keep their people safe, they had to be good warriors. Thy hair is as a flock of goats that appear from Gilead. O my love, as Tirzah, comely as Jerusalem, you are so beautiful that you remind me of something that I'm fearful of, an army of banners, or I'm amazed at. When I see my own army of thousands, and they are clothed in royal power and are ready to go fight, it gives me this sense of awe, like, and fear, like in a healthy way. Like fear of an opposing army in a healthy way, because it's like, hey, you better know what you're about to get into, boy or man. Or even your own army, where it's like, you better know what you're about to lead, bro. Like you're about to lead this army into battle, and are you ready to control it? And so like Solomon talking about his awe and his fear together in his well-beloved, his wonderful woman, it's like, hey, I'm being honest with you. When I see you, my heart, it like skips beats. It's like you make my heart in awe. And like there's a fear in that power, but it's a fear that is from a place of love. Like if I don't lead you rightly, potentially you get destroyed. Or if your opposing enemy, if you become my enemy, my heart is fighting against what I don't want to fight against, you know, like the awe of an army with banners and the fear it can induce, it's something that, how does a man control that? And not just control that, but like understand it, the power of the beauty that she possesses. So I hope that was a good explanation. I can give you more on that potentially later. I've seen, I mean, women I haven't met that it's like, wow, that girl is definitely very, very beautiful. But like in person, that's happened to me, I think once or twice, where it's like, oh my goodness, like my heart's leapt in me just looking at her. And I don't even know her name. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome feeling, ain't it? But it's like intimidating, but in a good way. Like it just is. So then, yeah, the other one I want to take out of this, which is in the story of blind beauty, is verse 10. Who is she that looketh forth as the dawn, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, and terrible as an army with banners? Like, who is this woman? Who is she? Like, I can see outwardly, but there's something more. It's more than just outward looks. There's an inward beauty as well that outward beauty should represent. And it's like, I wonder what this woman's name was. We just get like the Song of Solomon. He doesn't say her name. What was her name? What did her name mean? And like, yeah, like to discover not just the outward beauty of a woman, but who the woman is. That's a journey. It's a lifelong endeavor, and it's a wonderful one. And then I want to comment one more thing on this one as well. As it were the company of two armies. Verse 13, return, return, O Shulamite, return that we may look upon thee. What will ye see in the Shulamite? As it were the company of two armies, or the dance of Menahaim, right? I was talking with a brother at LA Fitness about this specific verse right here, right? When two armies gather together in ancient times, usually the kings would go out and discuss, and then they'd come back and then fight. But the lineup of two armies, right, before battle, it's an intense moment, right? Just like when you fall in love with somebody or when you are attracted to somebody, it's like, oh, there she is. Oh, there he is. It's like the battle lines being drawn up, and the spectators, to the spectators, it's like, what's about to go down here? And apparently in seeing the Shulamite woman, it was like looking at the engagement of two opposing armies. It's like, just in looking at her, it looks like an awesome preparation for a battle. Something that's about to happen that's very, very intense. Like whatever she does, she holds people's gaze. Like if you saw an open battle, like that would keep your gaze, just like sports, right? Like the NFL, like I was talking about earlier. The reason so many eyes are on that is because like there's glory there. The reason so many eyes are on that woman is because there's glory there. And yeah, like comparing it to either the battle or to a dance, right? When you see somebody that's very beautiful dancing, or two couples dancing together, it keeps your gaze, man. There's something wonderful and poetic and beautiful in every step and every move they make. And so, yeah, she had that kind of beauty and that kind of attention. She commands it, so to speak. It's given to her by God. There's a reason for it. So yeah, that goes back to some of my poetry I wrote. Go check out The Lost Queen and the spoken word poetry video. It's like 10 minutes, right? There's a part of what I thought of and wrote, right? Beauty so mysterious, it'll make you curious why God made it, why he saved it. Like when God makes someone beautiful, so beautiful that it makes you curious, so beautiful that it is mysterious, it'll make you wonder why he created it, why he saved it. Like that's the kind of beauty God creates and possesses and wants to reveal to the world about his own nature. So yeah, it makes you think. So chapter 7, last one before hopefully the end of the video. And hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm going to try and comment some more stuff. You know, a lot of people actually like listening to me for this long. Some people have got the attention span of a squirrel. It's like, oh, squirrel. Oh, this. It's like, I'm telling you what, like, when you see somebody very, very beautiful and, like, has a wonderful heart, like, you want to listen to them. It's like something that you delight in, like the conversation you don't want to end. It's like a good drink that, like, it's like, oh, I could drink that all day. You know, like, that's hopefully what I'm trying to create in this, fellowship, in this online forum. It's like, I love what that guy had to say. Like, and I hope, like, we can just kind of, when we hopefully meet in person, it's like pick up right where we left off, you know? So hopefully that's how you feel. And yeah, I just keep sharing my heart with you regarding the word. So verse 1 of chapter 7. Oh, how beautiful are thy feet with shoes. How beautiful are thy feet in sandals, O princess daughter. The joints of thy thighs are like jewels. The work of the hands of a cunning workman. Thy navel is like a round goblet which wanteth not liquor. Thy belly is like a heap of wheat set about with lilies. Thy two breasts are like two young roes that are twins. Thy neck is as a tower of ivory. Thine eyes like fish pools. In Heshbon, by the gate of Beth Rabim. Specific. I want to say that. He's so specific about her eyes. Like, he knows her very well, like, intimately. Like, he's talking about a very specific pool. It'd be like, if I was putting it in a modern context, your eyes, babe, are like the fish pool at Como Zoo. Like, or at Shogun, like, where I go to eat. I love the Japanese, like, steak dinners, like, and y'all, great date, for sure. I don't know if y'all like this, or girls like it, but Japanese steak dinners at them, like, super cute little places, that's my kind of thing. That's my kind of food, you know. That's my kind of date. So, but yeah, like, he's so specific. Like, he's not just like, oh, your eyes are like fish pools. Like, they're peaceful and beautiful and they got koi in them. It's like, your eyes are this to me, like this specific place. And, like, who knows? Maybe they went on a date there, like their first date or something. Like, there might be actual significance to that specific gate at Beth Rabim. Thy nose is as the tower of Lebanon, which looketh toward Damascus. And, like, the Tower of Lebanon that gazes toward Damascus, it's like a distinct thing. Your nose is distinct. Like, it makes you and unique. You know, some people make fun of me because I have potentially a big nose or whatever. To me, dude, like, I got the nose God made me with, and, like, I like it. Some people probably don't, but, like, if you have a big nose or a small nose, or if you're super let me just talk about women's insecurities and men's insecurities. Like, if you can't figure out, like, God loves you and created you uniquely, you, like, yes, I'm probably not a 10 out of 10. You're probably not a 10 out of 10. You, right? Okay, even if you're a girl and you're, like, a fine girl, like, high quality woman, I can almost guarantee you don't look like this woman. Like, for real. Like, this woman, like, I honestly, I wish I could, like, see a drawn artwork, ancient artwork of who this woman was that Solomon got to have. And this dude was king, right? He got to have whatever woman in the kingdom he wanted. Women from beyond Israel and in Israel. And it's like, whoa, you know? But yeah, like, whatever insecurities you have, like, you got to come to terms with who you are in God. Like, you might not look like a supermodel. You might not look like, I mean, for me, I looked up to Brett Favre, like, sports athletes, but, like, there's supermodels, right? Like David Lade or, You know, who else? Like, and I respect the dude. He's a hard worker, but like, you know, it's like, okay, where are you at on this whole spectrum of like outward beauty and like inward vanity? Like, if you're outwardly beautiful and inwardly vain, like you're just a show. Like you're a fake. And I'm not calling David Lade a fake or anybody like that, but it's just like, seriously, if your outward beauty is all you focus on, that's vain. It's all gonna vanish. But if you got outward beauty and inward beauty, that's powerful. Like, girl, for real. Like, if you got outward beauty and you have inward character, that is to be praised. Like praised. And like, I didn't really get into the description of that specific verse in Proverbs 31. I'd love to. For a woman to be praised or to give honor to a woman who fears God, whoa, like worship is reserved for God. Praising a woman, like, whoa, you know, like a woman who fears God is to be praised. Like, there's something there. There's something really powerful there that a lot of pastors and people don't really talk much about. You know, a queen of a king, if the king, Jesus, is to be praised and worshiped, what does that say about his queen, potentially one day, the church? His bride, his babe, his girl, you know? Like, it makes you think. It makes you really think. What rights are reserved for the queen of the king? The crown upon his head, even though she is submissive to him. A wise woman, right, from Proverbs, is like a crown upon her husband's head. It's distinguishment, right? So yeah, I may have a bigger nose than most people in the world. Maybe not the biggest nose in the world, but I think it looks pretty good. And some girl's gonna think it looks sexy. Hopefully. And if you don't find your peace and your identity and who God's made you to be and take care of your body and those things, like, yeah, I'm sure that you'll have a lot of insecurities, right? But yeah, it's something I just wanted to share with you. Thy nose is as the tower of Lebanon, which looketh toward Damascus. Thine head upon thee is like Carmel, and the hair of thine head like purple royal. Your hair is royal. Like, for real, like it's got that kind of beauty, the woman's glory. Your hair is like purple. It's a royal color, the color of kings. For real. The king is held in the galleries. How fair. How fair and how pleasant art thou, O love, for delights. This thy stature is like a palm tree, and thy breasts like clusters of grapes. I said, I will go up to the palm tree. I will take hold of the boughs thereof. Now also thy breasts shall be as clusters of the vine, and the smell of thy nose as apples, like apples. Apple cider beer. And the roof of thy mouth like the best wine from my beloved, that goeth down sweetly, causing the lips of those that are asleep to speak. Talking in your sleep, like, this girl is so good that Solomon, even in his dreams, is speaking about her. He's that in love. Causing the lips of those that are asleep to speak. Babe, you're so beautiful. I talk about you in my sleep. Oh, it's funny. All right. Yeah. So, I am my beloveds. I am my beloveds. Okay, so that's the end of it, actually. That's where the girl gets back into it. But yeah. So, my commentary on these specifically, right? Obviously, I said it as I was reading it. But he goes back to her hair. And, like, I can go specifically to the breasts, right? The breasts being compared to a palm tree, right? A palm tree gives dates. dates are tasty. They're kind of a unique flavor. It's something that you kind of savor and it's chewy, right? So it's like, hey, I mean, to me, if he's comparing her boobs, her breasts to gazelles drinking milk out of a mother, right? Twins, right? Like something you take time with. It's something that you take care of. And like even eating a date, if you've ever had a date, if you've never eaten a date, go to the grocery store, go find up here in Minnesota, we have this place called, what is it? Lunds and Byerly's, and they sell these really good fresh dates, or like kind of like, aged dates. And when you taste them, it's like a flavor that you savor. It's like a chewiness where it's like, ooh, that's unique. Like, don't gotta rush it, guys. You don't gotta like, oh, whatever. It's not, you're not like drinking like, you're not drinking like one of them calves. Like, I'm a farmer, right? So like you see a calf that's like really hungry, like it'll go into its mama's tits and just start yanking on them and just going crazy with it because they can't help themselves. They just got to get big, But I think Solomon's giving this image of like, hey, savor her. Savor what comes out of them things, for real. Like, be slow with them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, delight in them. Like, savor that flavor of that date on that palm. And, yeah, I mean, you can pretty much figure it out from there. But I think that's some pretty good advice. And yeah, like it's something of deep delight, right? So the other thing too, yeah, obviously with the fish pools, right? And like when I think of like her eyes being like fish pools, like I can sit at a fish pool and read a book for hours. I can look at your eyes for hours and say nothing at all. Like just looking at your eyes makes me happy. Just looking at you and gazing into the beauty, right? Like, I mean, you see these people in the thing where it's like, look this way, look that way, to look into the eyes. But it's like, for real, like, if that was my wife and gazing into her eyes back and forth, like, it's like searching her soul. Like, that would be a delight to me. And like, not just to see her, but to like, to really see her and to know her for who she is and who God created her soul to be. Like, it's a very, very powerful thing. So like that fish pool analogy and being specific, like when you see somebody that you specifically love and know intimately regarding her eyes, like, whoa, there's something deep about that, something powerful. And then obviously going back to the color of purple, right? I love amethyst, and amethyst will be in the kingdom of heaven. But comparing this woman's hair to purple, her hair to him was dark. I'm pretty sure she had black hair. And I love Native American women. I think they're beautiful, very beautiful. I actually tried to date a Native American girl, but just seems like the Lord's will was not in it. And otherwise she would have went out on a date with me. But yeah, Native American women are very, very similar to the woman that is being described in the Song of Solomon. Her hair is black, she is black, like in comely, right? Like darker skinned. Very beautiful. But I like women that have brown hair, blonde hair, black hair, red hair, like they're all beautiful. White hair. Eventually it won't stay that same color, babe, so hopefully white looks good on you and you're okay with that. Or silver. Some women age very majestically, by the way. I definitely want to be married to a woman that's younger than me. I'm 29. So if you're older than me, babes, like hopefully you find a good guy. I'm not looking to date somebody that's older than me, or be married to somebody that's older than me. Personal preference. And yeah, I mean, just thinking about hair and royalty, like some of these older women who age very gracefully, it's like, wow, silver looks good on her. And if she keeps her body healthy, you can look beautiful all the way up until, I mean, you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, 70s and 80s, you're kind of just getting old and wrinkly at that time, but like there still can be a majesty about you. And that's the one cool thing too, is your eyes. Your eyes stay the same pretty much for life until death, until your new body in heaven. And so, yeah, the royalty of a woman's hair. And like, I think that a woman's identity has been super, super attacked by Satan over the last 100 years. You know, we've been through a lot of stuff with the feminist movement and women's rights and women's identity. And like, I have like a healthy understanding regarding it. And I want to be able to share and speak about it in a healthy way that like shows those women that I care about them and I respect them and who God created them to be, even if they don't care about God or if they don't even know God. A woman, to me, in her glory, her hair is long. I'm not saying Rapunzel length or like Samson length, but girl, if you got long hair, like down to your like shoulder length or even more, like that is so sexy. Like there's so much love there. There's so much comfort. Like I think about like this. I remember landscaping. This is just a fun story. Like getting to know me more. I remember landscaping one year, right? I've landscaped for many years. In high school, I was a landscaper. Last 2 seasons, I was landscaping for my buddy Troy. And I remember working so hard one day. I got back to the trailer. I used to live in a trailer park. Yeah, shout out to Francisco. And I got some funny stories about a lot of different things. You know, this is more serious, obviously, when it comes to a woman's beauty, but like I have a sense of humor and I can make people laugh too, especially when talking about sex. Maybe that should be for a different video. But yeah, going back to it, I remember working so hard one day with my buddies, Justin, Joe, and Troy. I got back to the trailer and I got in my bed and I put my head on the pillow and I remember like it just came out. I'm like, I love you. Like the pillow. I said it to my pillow. And I lived right down the road from the My Pillow guy. Whatever his name is, but yeah, his like corporate headquarters is over in Chaska, Minnesota. I just remember getting on that bed after hard work and I'm like, I love you. Like I love you. And I was surprised. I'm like, I just said I love you to my pillow. Well, and then I got to thinking, it's like, if I get married one day, my wife is going to be like my pillow. Like, I hope that she's okay with it. And if she ain't, like, that's like a deal breaker for me. Like, babe, if you can't cuddle, like, as much as I cuddle with my pillow, like, peace out. Like, get gone. Like, that's how I see, like, your hair is like my pillow, hopefully. Or, like, you know, I'll be gentle with it, but it's like, I want to be sleeping next to that. Like, I want to have, like, comfort in your glory and delight in it and not, like, be rude to you or, like, mean. But it's like, hey, you belong to me. I belong to you. And, like, I want you. And I want to have that same comfort and relief that I felt that day where it's like, I just said I love you to my pillow. Like, what the heck? Like, it's funny. And, yeah. Like, I don't know what girls think about guys regarding that kind of topic, but like in a married relationship, you should have so much comfort in each other and delight in each other and oneness in each other that like comfort and intimacy just come naturally. It's just like something that's not even like a quarrel or a fight. It's just like, yeah, that's just how it is. So I think that this video is long enough. Hopefully you enjoyed it. What other things could I say? So many other things, but I think I'll reserve that potentially for my future wife. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you could do a video potentially regarding what the woman says about the man and what you think, because I love listening to that. I listen to who those girls that got like, think about it, they got like 600,000 subscribers and 400,000 subscribers, and they're giving the girl version of advice, right? And it's like, I'm kind of trying to do that through the Christian version. Like, it would be great to have 500,000 people listening to your sex advice and your relationship advice just because they're interested. Like, that would be fun. Like, and potentially having my wife and doing it together. Like I'm on different Christian forums that do it. Shout out to I'm trying to remember their names. Fierce Marriage guy and girl. I can't remember their names right now, but they're really great on Facebook. They're selling a great book. I really love that Morgan Oliver girl. I think she's got a really great like thing going on with her poetry. And yeah, like Christians should be successful when it comes to talking about relationships. Like God is the designer of it. And it's like if we're failing, here, I'm going to end this with the story of Blind Beauty. Like my goal for that book, and honestly for my life, is to create faithful marriages. Like marriages that truly like represent like the delight and joy and love of God. Because there is that. There should be that between a man and his woman. Like Satan shouldn't be in between them, dividing them at every constant second. You shouldn't be looking at your phone 24/7, and the guy shouldn't be looking at his phone 24/7. Like that relationship with God and with your husband and with your wife, like there should be nothing that you put before the face of God and nothing that you put before the face of your beloved. Like if there's anything in between that, it's going to try and destroy what God has brought rightly together. And so the story of Blind Beauty, which I haven't released yet, the whole reading of it, and like I have so much I want to talk about regarding that book with hopefully my future wife and also with the world, like with y'all, because there's things when it comes to intimacy and protecting love that like I think it'd probably be good to read this final section, even though it might have been read by the woman or the man. I have to read. That's what I was trying to check on before I started watching the Packers and the Vikings game. But this part right here, where it's like the love, the jealous and holy love of God. Like, there's something so powerful about it, right? So in chapter 8, verse 4, starting in verse 4, I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that ye stir not up nor awake my love until he please. Who is this that cometh up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? I raised thee up under the apple tree. Love it. There my mother brought thee forth. There she brought thee forth that bare thee. Set me as a seal upon thine heart, as a seal upon thine arm, for love is strong as death. Jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which have a most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. If a man would give all the substance of his house for love, it would be utterly contemned. So yeah, I think it's good to end this in worship. It's a song that I remember going to camp with. I'll set you as a seal upon my heart, as a seal upon my arm. For there is love that is as strong as death, jealousy demanding as the grave, and many waters cannot quench this love. You only let until you have it all. My heart is yours. You won't rely until you have it all. My heart is yours. Come be the fire inside of me. Come be the flame upon my heart. Come be the fire inside of me until you and I are one. Peace, y'all. Thank you for listening. And may God bless you in the new year of 2024. Is it the new year yet? Oh, we got 9 minutes. So cheers to you and your new year. Peace and blessings. Jesus is Lord. Repent. What is it? Repent, believe, and live forever. God bless y'all. Peace.